Here's our interview with Steve Hackett as we go track by track for his new album, At the Edge of Light. I'm John Beaudin from Rock History Book. At the Edge of Light was just released this past January. We asked Steve Hackett to go track by track, and it's a thing we're going to start doing a lot on this channel. We feature At the Edge of Light.
Fallen Walls and Pedestals. You're coming in big and strong. That's an unbelievable piece. Tell me about that one.
Well, funnily enough, I've been rehearsing this one today with the band, and it's just coming together for the first time. It's one thing making an album, it's another thing doing it live. It's just something about it, there's something about the speed of it. There was a track years ago by a comedian called Bud Flanagan. He did a thing called Run, Rabbit, Run, and it was a big hit with kids, and there was something about the speed of it that worked. And I went for the speed of that, and something like, not exactly the same melody, but the way it falls is it's a similar rhythm, completely different music, but a similar rhythm. And I thought if we had this kind of this slow, ponderous rhythm, but we have these fast phrases flying over the top of it, it'll have twin aspects that you don't normally expect with majestic stuff.
Beast in Time has a beautiful sort of foreboding intro. It's cinematic to me, that song.
It's basically all about the rhythm. There's a kind of foreboding thing. There's a kind of dance of death about it. A kind of waltz. It owes something to classical music. But then it's a two-part thing. You've got the instrumental, you've got the vocal, the social comment stuff, the symbolic stuff. And then the second half, of course, picks up pace and runs amok, as it should, in a cartoon-like manner.
Mayhem will ensue, yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, that's it.
Under the Eyes of the Sun, this is like, it's one of those, get out of my way, I'm coming through, I've got a statement to make songs.
Yeah, there's something about it. There's kind of all-out energy. The pace of it is very, very fast. Lots of changes. To do it live, you really have to be very, very on top of it. And it's like a very nice, fast ride at the fair. There's lots of energy. It's got an amazing bass part from Jonas Reingold, who's playing the fastest bass part I think I've ever heard anyone do. So that is quite extraordinary, just to hear that alone.
With your last album, we talked about that too, and I was telling you then, what I'll tell you again, you're introducing me to new sounds and new instruments. For instance, Underground Railroad, what is the instrument opening that up? Just before the guitar comes in.
It's harmonica.
Is it?
Yeah, harmonica, but it's cupped harmonica, with the hand and with vibrato and with reverb on it. So yeah, it's that primal cry of the harmonica, and then it's followed by the acoustic guitar is a dobro, the big shiny one, a little bit with slide, but it's finger picked as the song takes off, and it kind of it's almost banjo style really, to keep the train rolling, because it's a train song. It's about the escaping slaves, which is a subject I've looked at before with songs with Black Thunder, but this time I think actually having two girl singers on it, Durga and Lorelei McBroom, who sing with Floyd quite a lot of the time, Pink Floyd. Yeah, they did the track Proud, I think, and Amanda Lehman, who's on it as well. So, we've got four singers on the thing, and people tracked up and what have you. Different choirs, different sounds, the gospel influence, kind of country blues thing as well, and the story of it, because I'd read the book Underground Railroad, but it had been recommended by Oprah Winfrey and Obama, of course, and I thought, well, now this has got to be an interesting read.
Those Golden Wings has sort of a classic feel to it.
Yeah, well, that one's a love song dedicated to my wife, Jo, and she's a complex person with a complex history. So I wanted to do something worthy of her and make it very detailed. So with the introduction, there's a Tchaikovsky influence, there's the influence of folk music, lots of different choirs, sometimes the effect of a Hollywood choir or children's choir, sometimes both together, and the effect of a choir singing in Latin, not to mention my own solo vocals on it. So it goes through a lot of changes. It's got aspects of folk, of classical, of rock, and it's probably the most ambitious track in terms of the amount of changes that it goes through. So lots of scene changes on that one.
A lot of changes in Shadows and Flames. Again, that foreboding, kind of haunting intro, and then in the middle, the instrumental break just really rocks.
Yeah, Shadow and Flame is, my wife and I write a lot of these things together, Jo and I. She wanted to write about her experience in India, visiting for the first time and watching the light come up over the Ganges, and the beauty of that but also the horror of seeing bodies floating down the river. Mm-hmm. You've got the bathers in the golden light, and at the same time, they're dead bodies that are going down the river that are wrapped up in muslin or whatever they use. And I was trying to convey that at the beginning of the track, the idea of a kind of travelogue to India. And of course, we visited India together, and one of the places we were in was Mumbai, formerly Bombay. And so the track builds to a very hectic climax with a lot of things happening, and there's some incredible sitar playing from Shima Mukherjee, who's an incredible virtuoso. She's a lady sitar player, but she is really brilliant. So I think out of all the Indian tracks I've done in the past, the ones that have been influenced by that, I think this is the best.
You know, in every album you've got, most of the albums you've got, you'll throw me 1, 2, 3 of songs to me that just sound like hits. Hungry Years, to me, I listen to that and I'm going, that sounds like a hit single. That's such a great song.
Well, now that's a funny thing, because people from radio have been saying that, and I'm going to have to filter that back to the record company, who so far haven't even selected that as anything. But I really like the song because it's got a simplicity about it. It's a harmony song. It's got a hook. There's something memorable about it. I did the vocals with Amanda Lehman, and we kind of sound like one voice between us. So it's neither male nor female, but it's almost harking back to Peter, Paul and Mary. There's something there, and something of Clannad as well. I think that Amanda's voice, when she takes her solo on that, sounds very much like that, and it's got that sort of shimmering quality to it, almost kind of Irish. And I really love the tune, so I'm very heartened that you say that. And wouldn't that be great, to have to be a progger and have a hit with a simple song that's in 4/4 that everyone can hum.
What was the average time of getting one song done on this album? What was the average time?
It's difficult to say because I don't tend to do albums all in one go. I tend to have chunks of maybe 2 or 3 different chunks. So, the average amount of time that something would take, let me see. It's got to be somewhere between 2 weeks and a month. I would say each track probably takes that. Some things might come together more quickly than that. And instrumentals can come together very quickly. One of the tracks took literally one day.
Which one was that?
That was Descent. That all came together very, very quickly.
That has a real military sort of vibe to it with the drums.
That's right, yeah, very, very military. Cross between Ravel and Holst, a kind of bolero rhythm. Again, you use the word foreboding. It's really the build-up to war. It's forces amassing, thick clouds, descending sequences, tritones, 3-note chords, all going down in semitones. Doom rock all the way.
Conflict has to me a real sense of traveling. It's of traveling fast, of moving fast.
Yeah, well, it's there were 3 tracks at the end. You've got Descent, Conflict, and Peace. So really, it's a story. Again, it was Joe who suggested, because I had these things separately. I had the first bit and the last bit, and she said, if you had something to link them, this is the track called Conflict, which is really a musical idea of war. The pace hots up, and the notes come thick and fast. I think of them as note salvos, very, very fast. Guitar solo recorded an octave up via my Digitech whammy pedal. So these are all things that are like a kind of film in a way, an imagined film, perhaps for the ear rather than the eye.
And closing off with the gorgeous, gets in your head and you can't get it out. It's beautiful. Peace.
It was the idea of resolving a lot of the tension that runs throughout the album. The idea of having something that was peaceful, that was part love song, part anthemic, with a kind of spiritual, a spiritual resolution. The idea that all the things that we strive for in this world, there is a payoff right at the end of it in the world of spirit. It's kind of meeting spirit halfway, and in a sense, spirit having had a good look at you, spirit making itself manifest and meeting you. So in a sense, it's the kind of meeting of separate worlds, and I think that was something that ran throughout the album, which is I think why people like it so much. I get the feeling that for all my efforts putting it in, it was spirit meeting me halfway and giving me a present back. It seemed as if for every bit of energy I put into it, something else came back into it from another dimension.
Look for our track-by-track special on His third album, Spectral Mornings, which he's performing also in concert. It's its 40th anniversary, coming up next week. Make sure you comment on our video, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. I'm John Beaudin.